Hi, I'm CoreyJoe and welcome to the video. In today's video we will be talking about the Eldrazi Unbound Commander deck from Commander Masters. When it comes to this video, I will not be going over the cards in their entirety. I'll just be going over kind of the best cards or cards that have interested me or the new cards and giving kind of a gist or generalization of each section of the deck. If you do want to see all the cards, there is a link down below that shows the entire deck list. Now, before starting this video, I will have to admit, and I do have to say, that I have a soft spot for Eldrazi, so I'm going to try and make this as least biased as humanly possible. Eldrazi is my favourite creature type, kind of on par with gods, but I think Eldrazi's are a bit cuter. I know people find that weird, but I find Eldrazi are a lot better. There's just not that many like Eldrazi cards that are unique compared to gods, so that's why I kind of like it's close. So in this video, I may come off as unbiased or something like that, but I'll try my best not to be. So let's start off with the commander of the deck, and the commander is Zulodok Voidgorger. For 5 and a waste, you get a legendary creature Eldrazi that is a mythic. Colorless spells you cast from your hand with mana value 7 or greater have Cascade, and he is a 7/4. When it comes to this card, I absolutely love him. He looks absolutely amazing. He's an okay mana base. I usually try and keep my commanders roughly 5 or less. He is 6 mana, however his abilities are worth it because you don't cascade, you cascade twice, which is a really good ability. I absolutely love cascade. And with the amount of Eldrazi's that are 7 and above and colorless creatures that are 7 and above, there's also a lot of X creatures as well that are colorless. This is a really good commander. I also think the commander would be really good in a Anima 99 deck, like as one of the 99. They're just saying I have an Anima deck, so I'm planning on putting him in. But his power and defense is where I think he starts lacking. He is what I would like to call a enchantment creature. You play him and use his ability. You don't attack, you don't block unless you have to. I do think there could be a way that you can play him differently, but personally a 7/4, I think he should be more the other way around, a 4/7, so he would be a blocking enchantment, but that might have made him a bit more powerful than he should be. And then next is the sub-commander of the deck, and the sub-commander is Omnarthis Ghostfire Infinite. For 2x, you get a legendary creature, Spirit Naga, that is a rare. Omnarthis Ghostfire Infinite enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. Whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on another colorless creature, you may put a 1/1 counter on Amargus. When Amargus dies, manifest a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of counters on it, and it is a 0/0. Now when it comes to this, I don't like it. A double X cost commander is annoying and may confuse new players, especially with the command attacks added on too. The okay part is the getting the +1/+1 counters whenever one goes on. I do see it being used as a commander. I just personally hate everything about this card. I think the cost is silly. I think he gets +1/+1 for each one does make sense because he's an XX cost, but I don't like the fact that he gets +1/+1 when everyone else gets, because +1/+1s, there is going to be a few, but it's majority like a green thing or a blue thing or a colored thing, so the fact that this is colorless restricts you anyway. And then it has, my personal opinion, I have to say that, the worst ability in the game. Now it can be broken, it can do many cool stuff, but I just despise Manifest. I think Manifest is one of the worst keywords, abilities, whatever you want to call it. So I hate everything about the sub commander, and usually if you've seen any of my videos before, I prefer the sub commander than the commander. But now let's start with the actual full deck itself, starting with creatures. In this deck there is 30 creatures in total, and I'll be going over some of them now. Endless One, Hangerback Walker, Stonecoiled Serpent, Matter Reshaper, Skittering Cicada, Abstruse Archchain, Myrad Construct, Duplicant, Endbringer, Oblivion Sower, Soul of New Phyrexia, Steel Hellkite, Phyrexian Triomorph, Ancient Stone Idol, Flayer of Loyalties, Kozilek the Great Distortion, Metalwork Colossus, It That Betrays. And then next are the Planeswalkers of the deck, or as I will say, Planeswalker. I kind of guessed that this was going to be in it, however, I actually thought it would have been the original Dragon or Eugene, not the War of the Spark one, but it does make sense now seeing the sub-commander with this manifesting stuff too. Again, thing I hate, but his passive is quite good. So here he is on screen now. Eugene the Ineffable. And now we are going on to the sorceries of the deck. In this deck there are 3 sorceries, and I think they're actually quite alright or good, so I'm just going to put all 3 on screen now. Calamity of the Titans, All is Dust, Rise of the Eldrazi, and of course you can't have the sorceries without the instants being mentioned. In this deck there is 5 sorceries, but I will only be mentioning 3, and here they are on screen now. Warping Whale, Desecrate Reality, Not of This World, and now the artifacts of this deck. In this deck there is 21 artifacts, but majority of them are mana rocks, but there is 10 that are not, and some of them I really like, but I just thought I would mention all 10 on screen now. Endless Atlas, Investigator's Journal, Mazemind Tomb, Fire Shriekle, Mirage Mirror, Transmogrifying Wand, Mystic Forge, Perilous Vault, Kaladar's Complete, Darksteel Monolith, and then next are enchantments. In this deck there is 1 enchantment. I'm not the biggest fan of that, and I'm not the biggest fan of the enchantment. I find the enchantments is the weakest point of this deck, and here's that enchantment on screen now. Urgin's Mastery, and then last are the lands. In this deck there's 38 lands in total, and they're not as bad as I thought. A lot of the lands here have an ability, but again none of them add a color of mana, which makes sense in a colorless deck. But I did read some of the abilities of some of the cards and kind of questioned why they were in there, but it does make sense to just throw them in because they add wastes. But here are some of the lands on screen now. Arch of Orzarkar, Bonder's Enclave, Gyara's Reek Sanctum, Mirror Pool, Ruins of Orin's Reef, Scavenger's Grounds, Seagate Wreckage, Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, Tyrite Sanctum, War Room. So now my thoughts and opinions on this deck. I do have to say I had my hopes up from day one. If you've seen any of my content, I have been so happy saying that I am probably going to buy this deck. However, I think it's too soon to make an Eldrazi deck in my personal opinion. It seems that they tried to get Eldrazi artifact creatures that do cool little and weird abilities, and then manifest, and then try and merge them in the middle, which didn't go well in my personal opinion, especially for the amount of money you'll be paying for this deck. I think it would have been better if there was more Eldrazi, or if they added a color, because there is colored Eldrazi. But the fact that this is a pure colorless with only 1 of the 6 Titan cards in it is, again, it is a pricey Titan card and it is a good one. However, I do think calling this an Eldrazi deck isn't really, isn't worth it in my personal opinion. I had the highest hope for this deck and have just been severely disappointed. But when it comes to all of these decks, I had a higher hope than all of them should be, so I'm not sure if it's just me getting my standards up compared to what other people think. But let me know what you think of this deck in the comments down below. If there's any cards you would like to add or change the color of the commander. If you could add a color or 2 on the commander, what colors would you add on and why? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like and subscribe and follow me on all my social media, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, if you like this video, I have the enchantment deck here, I have a playlist to visit with it here, and a subscribe button here, and I'll see you all in the next video.